Hey everyone, welcome back. This explainer is proudly brought to you by Forge College. Okay, so I know last time we were in a totally different headspace. We were busy organizing a Solana project directory, right? Getting all those folders and files perfectly aligned for that specific ecosystem. While today, we're pivoting hard. We're heading right back to our strict Ethereum engineering blueprint. We're getting deep into the meticulous, highly deterministic world of the Ethereum virtual machine. So grab your technical schematics, because today we are literally tearing down the engine to look at exactly how state changes actually happen. Our topic for this session is balance tracking and nonce behavior.
Okay, let's dive into this engineering schematic. First up, we'll do a quick welcome to the Ethereum state. Second, we'll look at the balance, which is our canonical truth. Third, we hit the nonce turnstile. Fourth, we'll navigate some messy mempool edge cases. And finally, we'll wrap it up with the golden rules.
All right, part one. Welcome to the Ethereum state.
Up to this point in our Ethereum fundamentals track, we've spent a ton of time talking about addresses. We know exactly how they're cryptographically derived from keys and how they act as unique, mathematically secure identifiers on the network. But here's the kicker. Knowing an address's shape and its uniqueness, it just isn't enough to understand how this network actually operates. Think of an address as basically just a permanent nameplate on a door. To truly grasp how an account behaves and evolves over time, we have to open that door. Inside the Ethereum world state, your address maps directly to what we call the account record tuple. It's this tuple where the actual living, breathing state is recorded completely independently. Every single account on the network has, at a bare minimum, a balance and a nonce. And if the account happens to be a smart contract, it's also going to contain a code hash and a storage root to keep track of its logic and variables. This separation is honestly a brilliant piece of software engineering because it isolates your permanent identity from your constantly shifting numeric state. Today, we're putting our magnifying glass squarely on those first two foundational items.
Moving on to part two, the balance, or as I like to call it, the canonical truth.
Let's start with the very first item on that list, which serves as the absolute canonical truth of your account's holding vault. By protocol definition, a balance in Ethereum is an unsigned integer. It represents an account's spendable funds in the chain's base unit. Now, that term unsigned integer is absolutely vital here. It literally means it cannot be negative. There are zero overdrafts in Ethereum. You either have the funds to transact or you don't. Plus, this value is typically denominated in EOA, which is the absolute smallest indivisible fraction of an ether. I really want to emphasize that this single number is the canonical numeric truth for your address. The Ethereum network doesn't compute your balance by tallying up some massive historical ledger of every deposit and withdrawal you've ever made every time you want to buy an NFT. Instead, when a transaction executes, balances are adjusted through atomic updates directly to this integer. It happens instantly during block execution. The sender's integer decreases, the recipient's integer increases, and the state just moves forward.
Which brings us to part three, the nonce turnstile.
Now, managing a single integer is easy enough in a perfect vacuum, right? But decentralized networks are inherently chaotic. You have thousands of independent nodes worldwide, massive latency spikes, duplicated network messages flying absolutely everywhere. So how do we prevent total pandemonium? How do we stop some malicious actor from taking that one transaction where you bought a digital coffee and replaying it 50 times until your balance is totally drained? Enter the nonce. It stands for number used once. It's a non-negative integer sequence counter, and its entire job is to enforce deterministic ordering and prevent those replay attacks I just mentioned. Just like your balance, this sequence number is strictly attached to your address in the world state. Every single time you send a transaction, you have to include the exact next nonce in your sequence. If you try to submit a transaction with a nonce that's lower than your account's current internal state, the network nodes will instantly reject it as an outdated or duplicate request. This simple, continuously incrementing counter is literally the ultimate network safeguard. It guarantees that every signed action you take happens exactly once and in the exact order you intended.
And this brilliantly illustrates how the Ethereum protocol intelligently adapts its core mechanics based on exactly what kind of entity is operating. Look at the comparison we have here. For externally owned accounts, so accounts controlled by actual human beings with private keys, the nonce simply counts the number of confirmed transactions sent from that specific address. Simple enough, right? But for contract accounts, the behavior shifts a bit. Because contracts execute code, their nonce historically counts the number of other contract creations they've performed rather than every arbitrary internal invocation. But the underlying engineering principle remains exactly the same. The world state tracks whichever sequential counter is meaningful to validate the forward progress of that specific account type.
Now, what's really cool is seeing this mathematical progression laid out step by step.
Let's look at address 0A. We start with an initial state where the balance is 10 and the nonce is 5. In step 1, we broadcast a transaction to send 3 units. To do this, we absolutely must use our current sequence number, nonce 5. When the block is mined, notice how the update is entirely atomic. The balance drops to 7, and precisely at that exact same microsecond, the nonce ticks up to 6. Next, in step 2, we want to send 2 units. We are now required to use the new nonce, which is 6. The balance reduces to 5, and the nonce advances to 7. Balances and nonces update together. They are locked in lockstep, enforcing this perfectly deterministic dance that allows every node on Earth to agree on your exact state.
To make sure this concept really sticks, I want you to visualize the nonce as an incredibly stubborn, totally unforgiving turnstile guard at a train station. This guard only cares about strict numerical order. In step 1, the guard is standing there waiting specifically for token N. In step 2, let's say due to some network delay, token N gets lost, and you hand the guard token N+2 instead. The guard does not let you through, no way. But in step 3, he doesn't throw your token away either. He simply shelves token N+2. It just sits there, suspended in a pending state, and he absolutely refuses to process it until you go back and successfully present token N and then token N+1. Only when the exact sequence is satisfied will that guard pull N+2 off the shelf and process it.
Okay, so that is the pristine white paper theory of how Ethereum state works. But let's inject a little tension into our lesson here. What if your transaction actually gets stuck out there? What happens when we take this strict mathematical model and throw it into the turbulent, highly unpredictable waters of the real-world network?
That brings us to part 4, mempool edge cases.
Welcome to the messy reality of fluctuating gas markets and competing priorities. When your transactions enter the mempool, which is essentially the global waiting room before a miner picks them up, we encounter 3 primary hurdles. The strict turnstile model forces us to adapt to nonce gaps, transaction replacements, and chain reorganizations. Let's break down exactly what these mean for your account.
First, let's contrast the 2 most common scenarios you're going to face. On the left, we have nonce gaps. This is pure frustration. If you fire off transactions 10, 11, and 12, but transaction 10 had a fee that was way too low and just gets ignored by miners, it creates a gap. Because of our stubborn turnstile guard, tokens 11 and 12 are completely stalled in the pending queue. Your account is effectively frozen until token 10 clears. But look at the right side. Transaction replacements. This is your strategic way out. You can actually submit a brand new transaction using the exact same nonce, number 10, but this time you offer a significantly higher gas fee to the miner. You're essentially sliding the guard a much shinier token 10. The network accepts this better incentivized replacement, it gets mined, the gap is filled, and suddenly tokens 11 and 12 are free to process. Actually, fun fact, if you've ever used a speed up button in a Web3 wallet, this exact replacement mechanism is what you were doing behind the scenes. Now, to build a truly complete picture of network reality, we also have to talk about chain reorganizations. While these are incredibly rare on mature networks, chain splits do happen as the network seeks global consensus. And when a reorg occurs, our turnstile actually backtracks. Imagine you had a transaction successfully mined on a short-lived fork of the blockchain. If the network suddenly shifts consensus to a different, heavier, canonical chain where your transaction hasn't been included yet, your token is basically handed right back to you. Transactions you completely thought were consumed and finalized can suddenly return to a pending state. The sequence rules still apply perfectly, for sure, but you have to be aware that the state can occasionally rewind, forcing your transactions to queue up at the turnstile all over again.
Finally, part 5, the golden rules.
Having navigated both the pure theory and the chaotic edge cases, it's time to establish our vital operational habits. So the crucial point here is that understanding the theory is only half the battle. The rest is execution. Here are your practical habits. Number 1, always read the confirmed nonce directly from a fully synced node right before you send a new transaction. Never try to blindly guess or calculate it locally without checking the current chain state. Number 2, monitor your pending queues for gaps. If your application sends high volumes of transactions, you absolutely need robust monitoring to detect when an early nonce gets stuck so you can automatically issue a replacement. And number 3, manage your nonces intentionally. A classic mistake is having multiple backend servers sharing the same private key, blindly firing off transactions and constantly overriding each other's nonces. It causes massive gridlock. Treat your account's sequence counter with extreme care.
And that leads us to this defining quote. Predicting an account's future state requires knowing the starting balance, the starting nonce, and the exact sequence of transactions applied. This sentence right here is the ultimate summary of the deterministic elegance of Ethereum. There is no hidden magic, there's no ambiguity. If you know the starting conditions of the tuple, and you know the exact, unbroken sequence of transactions that the turnstile guard allowed through, you can calculate the precise state of that account at any given moment in time. It's just a masterpiece of verifiable engineering.
But as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a profound, kind of lingering question. Think deeply about this for a second. If someone hands you a raw private key right now, literally just a random string of hexadecimal characters, how exactly does that mathematical string connect to these specific nonces on the network? How does the Ethereum protocol mathematically prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the person pushing token 10 through the turnstile is actually you? That cryptographic bridge is exactly what we are going to unpack in our upcoming explainer on account keys. Until then, stay curious, keep building, and make sure you visit forge.college to dive deeper into the subject and master a whole world of other Web3 topics. Thank you so much for joining me for this Forge College explainer, and I'll see you in the next one.